everybody, and a very warm welcome back to the latest episode of Hidden Jewels of Soul and Disco. If you are like me, grown up with James Brown in your ears day in and day out, one name is very familiar to you. It's Maceo. Maceo is as much part of the songs as James Brown himself. So this week we are featuring Maceo Parker. Why the first album of Maceo and all the King's Men flopped, and why many think that James Brown is to blame, well, we'll discuss this after some needle drops. When people discuss funk music, I do always hear the names Bootsy Collins, Rick James, George Clinton, Funkadelic, P-Funk, Sly and the Family Stones, and many, many more names. But I never hear the name Maceo Parker. But Maceo helped to shape funk music the way we know it today, and he's been very often overlooked, which I think is a shame. But who is Maceo Parker? Maceo Parker was born in 1943 in South Carolina, and he was born into a very musical, talented family. Together with his brother Melvin, who played drums, he joined the James Brown Band in 1964. And his saxophone playing became one of James Brown's trademark sounds. And together, and also the group of James Brown has a big part in the success of James Brown, they created some fantastic recordings. For example, this one, Mother Popcorn. And here's a little clip where you can see James Brown in his prime, at least in my opinion, when he shouts out Maceo.
Another brother talking about Maceo. Maceo, come blow your horn. Good God, I don't want no trash. I don't want no trash. Don't want that mess. Bring me some popcorn.
By 1970, to be exact, in March of 1970, big parts of the James Brown Band parted ways, including Maceo. The reason were money issues, but also the musical direction where the band wanted to go, and what James Brown wanted to go. So Maceo founded Maceo and all the King's Men. But James Brown wouldn't be James Brown. He made out of a bad situation a lucky punch, because he hired a group which was called the Peacemakers, and it included a bassist who was called Bootsy Collins. And if you know songs like Sex Machine, well, that's Bootsy. And Bootsy and James had a kind of relationship like Maceo and James.
Get on up, Bobby. Should I take him to the bridge? Go ahead. Take him on to the bridge. Take him to the bridge.
But let's get
Can I take him to the bridge?
Maceo Parker, or Maceo and all the King's Men. In 1970, they released their first album. And here it is in all of its glory. Maceo and all the King's Men doing their own thing. This is an absolutely fantastic album from the beginning to the end. And you have to remember it's 1970 and it sounds like a record which could have been recorded today. You've heard some snippets in the beginning and you're questioning exactly why was this record not a hit? Well, the label House of the Fox wasn't that big of a label to begin with, but also, and this is also a reason why this album failed, James Brown, and I heard that from different sources, so I tend to believe it, James Brown paid many radio stations not to play their songs. So what happened with this album? It became an obscurity and pretty rare to find. If you want an original album, you have to pay, if you want it in a good condition, starting price is $450 to $700. And you have to be careful. A couple of years ago, the market was flooded with bootlegs who looked exactly the same as this one. At the end of the video, I'll tell you how to look between a bootleg and an original. There are only two facts which are known to see what's the difference. But we get to that later on. They toured for 2 years and in 1972 they released their second album. By 1973, Maceo joined James Brown again to leave him in the mid-70s to join together with Fred Wesley Funkadelic. They joined again James Brown, or Maceo joined again James Brown between 1984 and 1986. In the 90s, he finally started his solo career and released some tremendously good albums, starting with Roots Revisited and his 1992 live album Live on the Planet Groove. He also worked together with De La Soul and Prince.
Chad, where my party lights at? Come on.
So this man is an absolute legend, and I wish he would get more credit than he's actually getting. So if you have the chance, go and get or check Maceo and All the King's Men. You get this on Spotify, you get it on YouTube, and you also find some very nice reissues. But please don't fall for the bootleg trap. I'm showing some pictures because there are just two things how to identify a bootleg from an original. The original has, like I said, I put in a picture, a kind of deep groove. It's not a deep groove, but it has this kind of groove, and it has also soft edges. There are very soft and flat edges. The original is having very sharp edges. These are just the two things to know to see if a bootleg, if it's a bootleg or an original. Like I said, if you are lucky to find a near mint copy, you are not having aging issues or something to look, which says, okay, this is a 50 years old record. No, they almost, if you find them in near mint condition, look like new. So you have to be careful. If it's sometimes too good to be true, double check. So once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Listen to good music, maybe Maceo Parker, and all the best to you.